spirit since I've been here these 2 days, and I am really so glad that I was able to say yes when I was invited to come and share in this time and in this space with you. And I get asked a good bit to, quite often, especially at this time of year, to go places and talk about the civil rights movement. I have to tell you, I've told this little story many times. There is the South Atlanta School for Girls, it's called, just down the road, not far from where I live in Ithaca, New York. And I had a cousin that used to work there. She was one of the managers of those set of programs. And I got introduced, and my cousin, who was one of the managers there, introduced me, and she just, it was almost as good as that introduction you just gave me, right? But when I stood and walked to the podium, I heard one little girl on the front row say after hearing that introduction, "And y'all still living?" And she looked like she was about 12 years old. And but I decided that I ought to take that question seriously. What does it mean to truly live? We could do a lot. Wouldn't that make a wonderful workshop, you know, to spend some time sometimes look at what does it mean to really live to the fullest. I think there is a lot that we could do with that. And but I've never forgotten what that little girl said. And I've been scribbling notes and pondering what part of my life and work would be interesting for you, and could I share in a meaningful kind of way. I think I'm going to jump right to the assigned task with the question being, what would Martin say? What would he have us do today? That question has been changed, worked around. But I was requested to look at that, as other people are also requested to look at and deal with that question. And actually, one thing I can say is that I scribbled a lot of notes here just yesterday and today. But I know what was going on that made him, well, let's say that opened some doors through which he walked. One thing that I like to do is to make sure that people know Martin, and Andy Young and I called him Martin a lot, and we were friends. But I wonder sometimes what we do, if what we do with with leaders. If sometimes we might disempower other people, those who come after. I don't know if that question makes any sense to with anybody, but we put people on such a pedestal, and maybe they deserve to be there. But I found myself wondering at some points in my life, you know, are we going to make a person such almost a non-person, non-human being, that nobody else feels like they can do anything? Because they got him, you know, walking on water, you know, whatever. But I knew him, I knew Martin, I knew and ML, as his sister and the family called him. We were all good friends. I know that Andy and I, every time we get together, we still, once in a while we even cry, but we talk about our time with him a great deal. You may know Andrew Young, he became our ambassador to the UN and the mayor of Atlanta. And you know, I say, you know, Andrew, wonder what Martin would say if he really knows how he was honored, really around the world. I've been, as you've heard, in a good number of countries, and there are roads and streets and buildings and programs named for him everywhere. But I'm glad you mentioned that I just did a book, Brian, because it helps me prove something I like to say. There's one photograph in the book. Here it is if you backsnap it. He has his hands in his pocket, and he's leading a song with a group of us. And he loved to sing. Well, we all did. The civil rights movement was a singing movement. Does anybody know that that's what it was, a singing movement? And it wasn't about waiting until there was a formal place on the program to do a song. Folk would just sing a song because the Spirit said, sing a song. And we would sing a song, you know, based on, you know, what was going on, what had happened. You know, I remember, you know, when we were threatened, somehow Jimmy Lee Jackson, who got shot, I'm thinking, you know, what happened the day he died. And when we came together to commemorate and mourn that loss. Nobody had to say, shall we, now let's sing a song. Well, just started, singing. When we felt really sad and something horrible had happened, as it often did, and I took a group of children to the beach in St. Augustine, Florida. And I took one carload of children about 8, 9 years old, and I went back to what we call our Freedom House to get another load of children. When I got back with the second load, the first group that had run through a path back to the beach, they were running back saying, Miss Cotton, there's some men back there saying they're going to beat us up if we come to that beach. And I grabbed the hands of 2 of those girls in the second load and walked straight through a path back to the beach. I tell that because it's only now, I think I don't hear as well in this ear because of some licks I took, because they really did beat us up. But we could tell a lot of horror stories, and I think that some of you know, I see a few heads going up and down, know some of the horror stories, that some of the horrors that rough places, rough things that we endured in the civil rights struggle. But I don't want to necessarily dwell on that, but I do want you to understand that we got started doing things to change an evil system. And the reason I want to emphasize that, as I was about to say, is I think that people speak as though Dr. King started the civil rights movement. And this is taking nothing away from him, but he did not start it. Do you know that when Dr. King moved to Montgomery, Alabama, a group of women had already planned, when he had gone up and down, a group of women had already planned to do a one-day boycott. And we didn't have all this technology. Anybody old enough to remember, what's called those machines? Yeah, we had a lot of leaflets, and we'd run around and put them on people's porches. Well, they were